All right, so a few more things about Thomas A. Pilone or Pilone, Pilone, or I guess he goes by Tristen E. Nicole, Tristen Elizabeth Nicole now. Let's go back and look at the photos again. Some things I forgot to mention or point out. Again, first of all, let's look at this rose. Greenish gray mixed with pink, and in a lot of parts of this, it's over top of the pink. And again, it's a rose. I don't know if you recall that I was pointing out one of the connections between those characters from popular fiction, like Ariel, and Jessica Rabbit and Gamora, and a lot of times one of the crossovers between the meanings of their names is it'll be a flower or a blooming flower, or quite often a rose or flower that's sort of a type of rose. Something else that's really worth noting is, again, this same picture he's had for 5 years at least, 5-6 years. It was printed out on a sheet of printer paper. It was colored like by a little kid, clearly, or at least an adult. If an adult colored it, they made it look like it was colored by a little kid because it wasn't colored in very well. They didn't stay in the lines. So he's just had this random sheet of printer paper with the Little Mermaid with Ariel printed on it, colored by a little kid, sitting around with him for years and years and years, and he decided to just take it out and sit it there for me to look at. Like literally put it aside for me to look at, laid it out on a table for me to look at. And I was just kind of like, why? I was like, this is interesting. And my gut started going off like, this is weird. Note how she's colored in with the blue over top and the pink down below. Remember how I said they flipped the color coding? Typically, Ariel and all the other, and Gamora and Mara from Aquaman and all of them, they have the pink red up top and they have the blue green down at the bottom. And these people in this cult, it seems they like to flip that script. They like to flip that natural order. So it's flipped around here. And again, it's a mermaid, which mermaids factor in a lot. Melusine is, again, I'm going to make a video about Melusine. That's likely where the mermaid myth comes from. Honeysuckles. If you want to, I'm going to go back momentarily to the PDF I'm working on, but that's something that comes up a lot in the name meanings for these characters. Honey, or suckled by honey and stuff like that. So likened with honey, so on and so forth. Sweetened with honey. Another big one, a big one, are all these, I don't know if you recall in past videos, I said that these people the people in this cult seem to like to gather in places, live in places where they can look out over water and see the setting sun, where it comes down and touches water. There we go. There's one. Starting to come down, not quite touching the water yet, but it is touching sort of murky clouds that sort of blend in with the water. And then again, down here, now, I've mentioned many times in previous videos that this cult seems to be very intimately connected with the OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis. The Ordo Templi Orientis started off as a Freemasonry lodge. It was taken over by Aleister Crowley, and it was made more Ptolemaic. They are still very much connected with Freemasons, though, because many of the Ordo Templi Orientis gatherings and meetings still take place in Freemasonry lodges. And again, don't forget the fish floating in the sky or swimming in the sky over top of birds. We've got the birds down here. We also, I suspect, again, that those little black blips in the sky there might be flying birds that are in this reflection in the pond. So again, he just took a picture of a fish pond upside down. This picture's upside down so that you could see the reflection of the sky and the trees in the water, but you can still see the fish in the water as well. And it gives the impression, gives the appearance that the fish are floating in the sky or swimming around in the sky. If I find any connection between the Frank family and your family, Thomas, that's going to be no bueno for you. So, and again, I had just met this chick, her, and was like telling her sort of my plight, like I'm homeless. She like very serendipitously appeared in my life, and I was telling her about my worries and how I was made homeless by my mother taking my RV away from me that she bought specifically for me to live in and swore she would never make me homeless by taking it away. This girl, her name's Jen Borden. So it says down here, T and Jen. Jen Borden. And she was like, I just realized I'd been saying that to her for a little while, a few days. And then she gave me this big spiel that I kind of felt was a lie. She was like, I was just looking up in the trees and I saw like the tree branches make a T. And I just realized, T, you could stay with my friend T. I kind of even knew before I even met T. And when she was saying that to me, like, this feels like a setup, but let's see. I don't want to judge too quickly. Let's see how T turns out to be. And then right off the bat, when I walked into T's place, this sunflower was sitting big as day in his window. And this is, you can see out the side there, out the window. So this is at number 22. He was in apartment number 22. Which 2 and 2, if you flip one of the twos together, put them together, it makes a heart. Remember, they worship like this deity that is represented by Shiva, and quite often it's associated with the heart. Why? Because one of the things that keeps, I've mentioned this in a previous video too, one of the things that keeps men from just being rounded up and put into cages, basically, by women on this planet and just used for breeding purposes is love. Because if we were smart and more concerned with just, doing what was best for our children, that's exactly what we would do. Because if you look at human nature and animal nature, typically the biggest, even Louis C.K. says this in one of his stand-up jokes, the biggest problem for women is men. And a woman's greatest calling and job, really, is how well she can raise her children. We'd be able to raise our children a lot better if we didn't have men leeching off of us, abusing us, being unfaithful to us, emotionally manipulating us, so on and so forth. Some are better than others, but quite often just this is what you see is, and again, I did not start off with that opinion. I grew it over time by observing you douchebags, and having experiences with you. So yeah, this is in the apartment where I went to stay with him for like 3 days, 2.5 days, really. And he also told me something else that piqued my concern was he had worked for a long time with mirrors. And I also it's right there on the list of commonalities in the PDF I've been showing you guys in recent videos. Mirror, glass and mirrors is a commonality that pops up very often. And it's called the mirrored veil, the line or this thing that sort of separates the physical material world in the occulted esoteric community. The line that separates the physical material world with like the other world, this other place, this alternate dimension, this place that I guess our souls seem to come from. That separation is called the mirrored veil. Okay? Note that there's in the center here around the red part of this flower, you've got the 5 white petals. You've got a star there, but it's pointing downwards like a fallen star. That aligns itself with the Eastern Star, Order of the Eastern Star. Remember, these orders are all very intimately connected. The Order of the Eastern Star is very much connected with Freemasonry, just like Ordo Templi Orientis is very much connected with Freemasonry. These are all interconnected orders, and I'm not accusing every member of these orders. I am accusing people, like a group that is operating within them. And again, sunflower is something that's a sunflower is often used to represent. And he's going to call it like a sunburst or something like that. I think because at one point I was questioning him about this stuff after I left, because I didn't want to question him like when I was alone in his apartment, just he and I, because that felt like it would be very dangerous to do. So once I gathered up my stuff and left, I sent him sort of a barrage of questioning, like, and what's up with the sunflower? And he was like, it's a sunburst. Like, bitch, stop being a little pussy about this. You're pathetic. Ugh. Is there no end to how pathetic? I know I use that word a lot. It's because I'm dealing with very pathetic people. I barely could consider you to be people anymore. That's how pathetic and lowly you are. Pond scum is what you should be called. Pond scum. Less than that. But this picture is clearly taken in the apartment. So it was in Long Branch, New Jersey, up in Monmouth County, where I went to stay with him. And I can tell just looking out this corner here through the window, it's the same apartment complex. What was it called? Something Gardens in Long Branch. And he was in apartment number 22. Hi, kitten girl. My kitten's coming to see me. She's making biscuits on my boob. Hi, honey. I love you. I love you, Bobby. And again, this need of theirs to appear to be young and attractive forever, it's really sad. It's really sad and pathetic. You're weak. You're a weakling. And not in a good way. Like, weakness can be a good thing to embrace. We all have weakness, but this is a sad type of weakness. It's just a very sad kind of weakness. So again, and again, we've got, remember how I talked about the star being a better representation of human beings? As well as the color pink. Pink is not really a color. It's not a light wavelength. It's a combination of 2 different light wavelengths. For red, the light wavelength of red and the one of purple. And he has this green-gray. He has it flipped here. The green-gray, aquamarine over top of the pink down here. The pink starfish. This pink starfish shows up in other pictures with him. And Jen Borden, this chick, she has a little girl that I'm told she leaves to be watched by this dude regularly. That worries the shit out of me. That really worries me. More 5-petaled flowers, pink and purple, or like red and purple together, kind of making that pink. The little girl's blushing here. And she's wearing a moon earring. And the flowers really could represent sort of like a portal or an eye, or, like the eye that women have down there, the cooch. But then you also have the two, like, needles there sticking out. So that's, a phallic symbol coming together with a female vaginal symbol, yah-yah symbol. There we go. And I wanted to show you guys, I think for reference, and just again, remember I showed you guys that collection of symbols that were released by the FBI that are commonly used by pedophile networks. And one of them is a butterfly with heart wings, and another one is hearts within hearts. So you have the combination of the two here. Oh, and pink and purple. So the butterfly with heart wings is pink and purple. Oh, and we've got the little diamond stars on the outside too. So we've got a pink and purple butterfly. And the wings are hearts, and they're hearts within hearts. So one symbol was hearts within hearts. Another symbol was a butterfly with heart wings, and pink and purple. This fulfills a lot of them. Yeah. And also something I noticed is that Jen would first of all, Jen is younger than me and looks older than me. As if she's lost the light in her. Her light's been extinguished, I suspect. That's probably what happens when you let your child get molested. When you just step back and let that happen, which I suspect the women, the mothers, quote unquote mothers, they're not really mothers. If you let your child get molested, guess what? You're not a mother. You're not a woman. You're a man with tits, and you don't have a light in you anymore. You failed to protect your child. So, that is a mother's number one job. Protect your child. Protect your child from yourself. Protect your child from your own selfishness. Protect your child from a man's wang. Or from being corrupted or diddled in any way. When your daughter becomes an adult woman, then she can go out in the world and learn how hectic it is navigating a world of men. But again, these people, they like to, and I suspect that Tristen, because he's got a background in psych, or according to him, he told me he was like a counselor. I don't know how much to believe of the things he said to me. I suspect he preys upon women in that way. That's probably how he wound up befriending Jen. And he told me himself, she has terrible taste in men. She was probably coming out of bad relationships. And she told me, Jen was telling me about how, she and her mother have a really bad relationship. Well, it all seemed to match up too much, my mom and I have a bad relationship, and your mom and you have a bad relationship. Oh, you have a little girl who would be about the same age as my little girl would be now if my daughter hadn't passed away. And you just happen to have this lady dude friend that I can go stay with. It just all seemed a little too, So I was already a bit suspicious before I even walked through this guy's door. But again, I'm Little Miss, give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's see. And then it really snowballed into being super creepy and suspicious, from there, just right from there, it all added up to, yeah, I'm getting the F out of here. Especially what really made the decision for me was I tasted acetone in the food. Hey, idiots, you might want to go back and look at previous videos I've released where you can see my face. You see that big goose honker I got on the front of my head there? My dad gave me this. I'm very appreciative because it's very good. I can smell a rat, a shady rat bastard doing shady shit from a mile away. That's what this, it's not necessarily that pretty to look at, but it's very useful. I'm appreciative of it. Yeah, it also means that I can smell poison when it's in my mouth, you fucks. Idiots. Why don't you think a little more? How have you guys survived as a group of just being seedy little slithery snakes, I guess? But how you've managed to survive as a group, as a network this long when you're really that stupid? Well, yeah, let's put acetone in her food. She probably won't smell it or anything. You're fucking dumb. Like, no, look at that goose honker on her. I'm sure she doesn't smell anything with that. And again, just a reminder, sunsets over water. So let's go look at, I lined up some stuff here. Here we go. Here's an Ordo Templi Orientis. Oh, here they're referencing Carl Jung. They love the shit out of Carl Jung. They love Carl Jung. Right here. Let me see if I can, it's not letting me sort of highlight it, but down here at the bottom of this, here, I'll put it so that it's right there, right above the cutoff line. It says the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung transcribed a short Gnostic treatise in 1916 attributed to Basilides in Alexandria called The Seven Sermons to the Dead, which called Abraxas. There we go, Abraxas, connected with Ordo Templi Orientis, the supreme power of being, transcending both God and the devil, and unites all opposites into one being. There's the Abraxas. There's one depiction. See the rooster head over top. See the snakes for the legs. The snakes are the water. The rooster head is the sun. See this? He's holding a sun literally right there. So bringing together two opposites. It literally says right there. Power of being, transcending both God and the devil, and unites all opposites into one being. The uniting of opposites. This is why they like sunsets over water. They like to watch the sun come down and touch the water. The Ordo Templi Orientis, OTO, they're also called the sunset people quite often. I've heard them called the sunset people. I've read that. Or the sunset worshipers. And they gather in areas where they can look out over water and see the sun come down and touch the water. Shriners. Shriners are also another group, another secret society that's connected with Freemasons and OTO and Order of the Eastern Star. By the way, I'm going to be coming out with a little video about Order of the Eastern Star and why you shouldn't be a part of it, because that's Venus. You're worshiping Venus. It's the light bearer. The light bearer is not the light, you morons. You're supposed to worship the light, not the light bearer. The light bearer is the material molecules, the nonsense that holds the light and doesn't even hold all the light. It just refracts some of the light at you. So it's like, that's the magician. He's tricking you. He shows you false light. He shows you pieces of the light, but you never see the true light. He never shows it to you. So the light bearer is a magician, a trickster, an Abraxas. It's not the true light. You're idiots if you're worshiping the light bearer, and that's what they're worshiping. If you're Order of the Eastern Star, you're a moron. Congratulations for being a total fucking moron, because you're worshiping material bullshit. You're not worshiping the light of life. You're worshiping a trickster who pretends to show you the light. But he can't. He can't even completely hold the light. He can only hold little bits of it and show you little tiny bits of it, but never show you the full light. So, yeah. And if you're any other order that does something similar, worships the Eastern Star, Venus, anything like that. Hi, buddy. Okay, he's whining to me. He wants to go outside. Give me a minute. You guys were outside for a little while. Can I have... I have to... Mama has to get work done. I'm sorry. You know, if dudes weren't such pathetic creeps, then I wouldn't have to do this. And then I could be a good mama and just focus on my babies. But because dudes are pathetic creeps and whiny little bitch boys, and when mommy, look at me, what about me? Go out in the field and fucking work. What about you? You're mama's little helper. You're here to impregnate and go work. Impregnate and go work. Impregnate and go work. That's your job. Stop whining. Stop expecting all the attention. Stop making stuff more difficult for women and mothers. Do your job or kill yourself and get the fuck out of here. We don't have time for whiny little bitch boys. No time for it. He's a cat. I can tolerate that. He's got the mentality of a 2-year-old. All right? What I can't tolerate is a dude who's older than me, taller than me, bigger than me, that acts like a child. Well, mommy, look at me some more. Fucking go. No, I don't have time for you. You're supposed to be an adult right now. Go work. Or get the fuck out of my life. Like, you're annoying. So fucking annoying. Ugh, gross. And pathetic. Did I say that enough yet today? I'm going to say it some more. Pathetic. Oh, so anyway, as I was saying, I think that Tristen, this guy, Thomas A. Pilone, I think that he psychologically manipulates people that are in a weak place in their life, you know? They're in a bad place, and they're coming out of a bad relationship. They have a bad relationship with their one or both of their parents. They're in, like, their life is in a bit of chaos. They need some emotional support, and he, like a little snake, slithers up in there and pretends to be emotional support, and really... he's going to just, like, suck the life and energy out of you to keep himself young. And again, we see this, and I'm not saying that this has to be, like, in any kind of magical way. We see this happen, not even with people who are in this particular little cult. We see this happen just with people who have cluster B personality disorders. They do this to their own children. Like a highly narcissistic parent they need their children to be their cheerleaders. Go watch this movie. Again, I think I've mentioned it before. It's called this. If you want a dramatized example of this, one movie would be The Squid and the Whale. All right. It's got a pretty good lineup of actors and actresses. And it's basically centering around a man and a woman who are getting divorced. They have a teenage son and a younger son who's maybe, like, I don't know, 10 or something. And it's very clear that the father he's a narcissist. He's highly narcissistic, and he uses his son as his audience and his cheerleader. And he relays all this inappropriate stuff to his son, has these inappropriate conversations with his son because he wants to show off to his son. And at the one of the last scenes in that movie is the father lands himself in the hospital. I think he had a heart attack or something like that. And he uses his own son, his teenage son, like he's basically a hug-a-bear, like, you know, for his emotional support. And so the son is about to leave, came to visit him in the hospital, and he's about to leave. And, like, he's like, I'm going to go meet up with, like, a friend, blah, blah, blah. And the father is, like, emotionally bullying him into staying because the father doesn't want to be left alone in the hospital. Any good parent would be like, yes, you go live your life, go have fun with your friends. Don't you worry one fucking minute about me. I'm your parent. I'm an adult. So what I'm supposed to be doing is making it so you're living your life, okay? Don't you dare throw one more minute of your life away in this hospital room with me. That's a good parent. A shit parent, a narcissistic parent, does what that dad did in the movie, which was he basically was like, I want you to stay. I wish you would stay. And then the son breaks down crying because I think it just hit him all of a sudden. Like he realized like he is his father's hug-a-bear emotional support. Like he is not allowed to live his life. He exists purely to validate his own father. That is wrong. That is not a good parent. That is a shit parent. So we don't just see this with these people, specifically in this cult. We see this with people who are just highly narcissistic, who have cluster B personality disorders. So that's why I think that the people in this cult are all cluster B personality disordered out the wazoo. I think that they're all highly narcissistic and pathetic, and they don't want to grow old or die. They want to stay pretty and young forever. Richie Rich. Yeah, your video's coming up next, little bastard. One of your videos. Since you're being such a little puss about releasing the mainnet. Anyway, so that's what we're dealing with here. Little insidious snakes that feed off of people's energies because they're vapid inside. And again, Frank means Freeman. You'll see a lot of these people will have the name Frank connected with them in some way because they want to be free. They want to be free of all things, including morals and ethics and a conscience. All right? Some boundaries are good. It's good to have some boundaries. It's good to have some rules. It's good to have some laws. One of the boundaries that's really good to have and rules is called morals and ethics and a conscience. But no, these people want to be free. They want to be Franks. They want to be freemen. They want to be free of all things. They just want to do whatever they please and suffer no negative consequences. So they reference, if they don't flat out have Frank in their name, whether last name, first name, middle name, they or like part of something to do with Frank, they will reference it in some way, shape, or form. The name Frank. Because they want to be free. By the way, one of the Illuminati bloodlines they're called the Freemans. So, was there anything else? I mean, I can always make another video getting into more about how these people are pieces of shit. Oh, right. I had something else lined up here. So there's lots connecting Ordo Templi Orientis with Abraxas and with Freemasonry, so on and so forth. There's also a lot out there. A lot of allegations, a lot of stuff following the OTO around of child abuse. I read literally a dissertation write-up by a woman who was raised in an OTO family and suffered all kinds of sexual abuses when she was a kid. She was taken out to these little rituals and things were done to her, and it was disgusting shit. So right from literally from the mouths of people who were born and raised into this cult. Child abuse follows them around. Again, I'm not accusing all members of the OTO, but for sure, there is a smaller group, a little sort of little network that operates within the OTO and Freemasonry and Shriners. And remember that Zay Frank's grandfather or whatever, I've already found the written evidence that he was a Shriner. I had something else lined up here. All right, I had something where it was like, right. So you see a lot of stuff here where it's, they're referencing the sunset. OTO, this is all Ordo Templi Orientis stuff. Also at sunset. They loves the sunset. They loves it. There's like a whole, isn't there? There's like a lodge. It's called like the Lodge of the Sunset or some shit. Daughter of the Sunset Lodge, OTO, all that. You know, the Sunset Lodge. So again, these people are called the Sunset People quite often. And they're called Sunset Worshippers. I am the blue-lidded daughter of sunset. I am the naked brilliance of the voluptuous night sky. To me, to me. You people suck. Bunch of pathetic joiners. I stand alone, like the cheese. Is that a mom joke, Zay? Anyway. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. This one's probably already long enough. Me ranting. Yep.